Hello and welcome everyone to our weekly accountability meetings or live stream. And let me just say, compassionate weekly accountability live streams. This is a space where I hope you feel safe to share, where if you have any questions, concerns, I am here to answer them and to foster an environment where we can be vulnerable and take compassionate accountability to show up for ourselves, right? Because if we don't show up for ourselves, how can we show up for others? And if you are a Self Worth Hub member, welcome. It's wonderful to have you. If you are a subscriber, thanks for being here. Please, Self Worth Hub member, don't forget to, if you are in attendance, check in, say hello so that I can see you, and please track your attendance in our app for a chance to win our monthly gift card to reward you for your commitment to prioritize yourself and your growth. And if you're just stopping by, welcome. My name is KarinaAybar Jacobs. I am a licensed psychotherapist and coach based in New York City, and my specialty is helping women heal parentification, generational, and complex trauma so that you can achieve inner peace, set boundaries without guilt, and show up unapologetically you. And tonight's topic is something that deeply affects many of us: codependency in relationships. And I know what you may be thinking. However, we as hyper independent individuals can also create codependency by enabling and introducing ourselves within our relationship as the rescuer, the saver, and this, as I always say, messianic figure, somebody that is going to fix the person's problems and only to end up resenting the other person or to your detriment because it feels exhausting. And with Valentine's Day around the corner, we are bombarded with messages about love, romance, and connection. But today, I want to just flip the script a little bit. Let's talk about love, the love we don't often celebrate enough, which is self-love, and breaking free from the patterns that may be holding you back in relationships. This is not exclusive to romantic relationships. However, it's most common there based on our attachments. But we may show up codependent with family members, with friends, at work. And we are here to start breaking those unhealthy patterns that are not serving us. So let me pause for a moment and check. If you are watching, please check in. Tell us where you are joining from. I would love to see you and say hello. I'm here in New York City. It's very cold. We just had a lot of snow. So let us know where you're joining from. I am happy that you are here. And I would love to know if you feel comfortable sharing in the comments, what is your understanding of codependency? I would love to know. I will offer you a definition of codependency. It often starts from a survival mechanism we learned in our families of origin that unless we perform for others, we are not going to be accepted, we are not going to be loved. So it is a fear-based tendency. So we learn to suppress our own needs and our rights, our boundaries. We sometimes don't even know how to identify what we feel or our needs or emotions because we are so focused on other people and being accepted that we lose ourselves in the process. So we do that in favor of keeping the peace or gaining acceptance, or because there is a deep fear of abandonment and rejection, which is often the case. Now, let me check the comments real quick. Hello, hello, Beatriz, joining from LA. Welcome back. Such a committed Self-Worth Hub member. It's wonderful to have you, Beatriz. Okay. And one common subtype of codependence or codependency is the fawn response. And fawn meaning people pleasing. We have different trauma responses. We have the 4Fs within complex trauma, but stress responses, you may freeze, you may fight, get very defensive, or you may flight, where you ignore or are in denial or get immerse yourself in busyism, workaholism, and the fawning response, which is very common with codependency, which is that you tend to people please. You struggle with saying no. You feel guilty for saying no. You feel guilty for prioritizing yourself. And you people please for fear of abandonment, rejection, or judgment, etc. Comment I in the comments if you resonate with this and if you feel comfortable, please. Many of us become expert listeners, caretakers, and problem solvers for others in relationships, but we struggle with asserting ourselves or even identify what we need. So here's an example. Have you ever been in a situation, in a relationship, where you found yourself doing all the listening? Let's say it's a new date, and all of a sudden you realize that you're asking about the other person, lots of questions, only to walk away feeling like, wait a minute, almost like invisible, like, I know a lot about this person, but did they even ask about me? Or did I allow myself to also share? Because when you may have codependent tendencies, you don't like the spotlight on yourself. So it is easy to say, I'm fine. I'm fine. What about you? It's almost like, oh, no, not I don't want the spotlight and the focus on me. So we quickly shift the focus on the other person. Does that resonate? Let me check. Aha, thank you. And Beatrice is sharing. My understanding is a reliability on seeking validation or even safety from the external. Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. And she comments, you can relate, right? Me too. I used to be codependent in relationships. It's something that is an ongoing work. So through my own personal journey and my professional experience, it is something that I have overcome or continue to overcome, because it may not show up in like my marriage or romantic relationship, but it may show up with family members, because as a parentified daughter, I feel guilty saying no sometimes, or I jump to rescue or fix and problem solve because it is such a natural tendency. So it can show up in different ways, in very nuanced ways. So let's talk about how codependency can show up in relationships. Often it can feel like constantly putting others' needs ahead of your own. Maybe you find yourself drawn to partners who dominate conversations and like the monologuing narcissist that is often talking about themselves, may dismiss your needs, and or a friend who always take but rarely gives to you. Right? Does that resonate? Put it in the comments if it's in friendships, in romantic relationships, or familial relationships, if you find yourself in those situations. It's like a lot of takers. You find yourself being attracted, not through any fault of your own, but due to your early attachments, you may find yourself attracted to people that are emotionally unavailable. And that may not be validating and may be very self centered, and it's a perfect match, right? Unhealthy match, because you, as someone with codependent tendencies, may be extremely other centered, right? So let me check the comments. Okay. Well, I also want to bring it back to the Valentine's Day focus because it is this coming week and it can really amplify these feelings. Instead of celebrating love, some of us might feel consumed by thoughts of, am I doing enough for my partner? Or why do I keep ending up in one sided relationships only to be disappointed, or feeling like I will never find someone that is healthy or that will understand me? Might as well be alone, or I give up. And it is important to take a step back and be compassionate with yourself. This is an ongoing process. Your inner child needs validation and patience. We cannot undo in one night or in a few months what we have dealt with, the attachment wounds from our childhood. In fact, you're not broken or in need of fixing. You are just in need of care and support. And what a better way to start supporting yourself by tapping into your loving inner parent and affirming your inner child, because it's not your fault. That's why we're here. It's a way to start identifying the patterns that may lead you to be codependent in relationships. Let's see. Thank you so much for sharing, Beatrice. So she says, for me, it has been familial and feel guilty when I am unable to tend to my family's needs. I hear you. I feel the same way. And it can be very challenging because on the one hand, you resent the fact that you're constantly showing up for your family, being there for them. And it's almost like survivor's guilt sometimes, that if you are enjoying life and they're struggling, you feel guilty. And the reality is that in the process, as we often navigate within our self-worth hub calls, we stunt their growth because we do not allow them to troubleshoot and learn from their experiences, as well as stunt our growth because in the process, we lose ourselves. Does that make sense? So it is important to understand that codependency isn't a character flaw. It is a coping mechanism that we developed as children to survive environments where our needs weren't met, or where asserting ourselves felt dangerous. Maybe you were reprimanded when you would speak back to a parent, or you learned quickly, maybe through the lashing out of your parents with maybe your siblings, that if you were that good girl, you were quiet, you appeased your parents or caretakers, that you wouldn't get in trouble. So you learn to people please in the process. So when it comes to codependency, there is also a fear of self-disclosure. There is something that feels terrifying because it requires us to step out of old patterns. But the good news is that as adults, we have so many more resources. than we did as children. We're no longer in a state of helplessness. So a key part of healing codependency is grieving the ways that we abandoned ourselves in relationships in the past, and allowing healthy anger to surface. This anger isn't about resentment where you are debilitated by it. You have all of this hate. No, it's not about hate, not at all. I'm not encouraging that. But this anger can be the fuel for helping us, for helping you set boundaries and demand relationships that are reciprocal and respectful. Because if we don't admit to ourselves that we have these tendencies, we won't be able to heal them, right? We cannot heal what we cannot reveal. So, one actionable tip that I can offer you is to practice small acts, one day at a time. Being assertive this week. For example, if someone asks you to do something that you don't want to do, you don't feel comfortable doing, you don't have the time to do, try saying something along the lines of, I will think about it, or let me get back to you. Because you don't have to just dive into deep, helping and supporting. So you also don't have to resort to confrontation. And perhaps you may be perceiving saying no or disagreeing with someone as confrontation. And that doesn't have to be the case, right? If you are assertive, just say, you know what? Unfortunately, I had something planned. So let's try and meet up another time. Or unfortunately, I don't have the capacity to do that. And because I value our relationship, I would rather dedicate enough time to support you with this, but it cannot happen right now. So those are ways that we can honor the relationship while honoring our boundaries. And let me check the comment. Okay. Thank you so much for sharing. Thankfully, let's see. Beatrice says, thankfully, my romantic relationship, we're consciously thinking about our identities as a unit and outside of our relationship, but it can be hard. Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that. It can be hard because, or sometimes we even neglect some of our own goals or commitments because we want to be there with our partners, right? Willingly. However, that is how we can build resentment. And it's important. I love what you shared is key. Our own identities, and then almost like, a unit, the identity of the relationship, because that's how it is. In order for our relationship to avoid codependency, it's important to dedicate time to nurture your own interests, to identify your passions, invest in yourself, fall in love with your goals so that you don't have so much time on your hands and you are monitoring or you are latching or just wanting to be with your partner all the time. It can be suffocating. That is just the reality. I just think in simple terms, it can be suffocating. It can lead to resentment and no one grows in the process, right? So isn't it nice when you then get together and then you share what you are up to? Even if you live together, however it is, the relationship, just investing in yourself creates a sense of confidence, and it also inspires respect from your partner, from others, because you are someone that is valuing yourself enough to prioritize your needs and your goals, right? Does that make sense? Now, as we approach the closing of our live stream, I also want to encourage you to reclaim your voice. Valentine's is the perfect time to reflect on your relationship with yourself. Instead of identifying or idealizing this notion of like, oh, it's Valentine's, I must have a partner, I must be with someone. No, what about creating a partnership with yourself, your inner child? How are you going to show up for yourself during this time that we are bombarded with consumerism and this very unrealistic expectation of relationships? Now all of a sudden everyone is proposing, and no, you want to have a strong foundation, and that foundation starts with yourself and not what you witness on TV, on social media. It's not about that. It's about the relationship you have with yourself. So ask yourself, are you treating yourself with the care and love that you extend to others? That would be my question to you for this week. And if not, then what is one small thing that you can do this week to nurture yourself? So, finally, I want to invite you to write something down, right? Let's do a quick exercise. Write down one phrase you would love to hear from someone you care about. Something like, you're doing amazing, or I love you for who you are, right? Write it down. One phrase that you would like to hear from someone you care about. And now say it to yourself. It will feel awkward at first. I will not lie. Maybe it will. But if you've been doing this work, maybe not, right? So that's okay. That is normal. The more you practice it, the more natural it becomes. So I will start, Karina, I'm very proud of yourself for showing up tonight. I'm very proud of yourself for showing up these past few weeks, even though you were very uncomfortable to show up live on camera online. Okay, so that's that for me. Let me see the comments. Can you share what is one phrase that you can tell yourself? Anyone? Don't be shy. And if you are here and you're a Self-Worth Hub member, say hello. Or anyone passing by, say hello and share with us. I would love to see you. What phrase can you tell yourself that you would like to hear from someone you care about for this week? And for those feeling triggered or overwhelmed, remember, healing takes time. It is not about being perfect. It is about making progress one day at a time and showing up for yourself one day at a time. So let's see if anyone feels compelled to share. I would love to see you. Let's see. Thank you, Beatrice. Beatrice shares, your story and gift are needed, so don't give up. Oh, I love that. Yes, that's right. I always love that quote that I find on my, because I drink a lot of tea. Well, this is not tea this time. It's water. Actually, I finished my tea, but I get the little messages, and there's one that keeps coming up for me, and it's like, you have many gifts. Don't live this world without sharing them. And I was like, that's why I need to go and show up live. I need to nurture my YouTube channel, my baby YouTube channel that has been growing slowly but surely. And I'm grateful for all of you showing support and subscribing. And I'm hoping that you are finding valuable information, that you're finding it helpful. It means a lot. So that is why you have many gifts. Don't leave this world without sharing them. Okay, your story could be someone else's survival guide. And I want to thank you all for being here tonight. I do not take it for granted. Thank you for taking time out of your Sunday night and for holding space for yourself. So, as we head to Valentine's Day week, I want to challenge each one of you to choose one way to celebrate yourself. So maybe it is a solo date. Take yourself out to the movies or a nice restaurant or a nice dessert. Journaling, or maybe a little massage, do your nails, whatever you want, affirm yourself, but do something that nourishes your inner child. And if this conversation resonated with you, share your thoughts in the comments and let me know what you are working on or how you plan to practice self love this week. What would be your goal for this week? And for my Self Worth Hub members, don't forget about our upcoming group call on Women Who Love Too Much, based on that book. And we will delve deeper into these topics and have an interactive, insightful conversation during our live group call this coming Saturday. Right? So, if you are not a member yet, it is a wonderful time to join, where you can be compassionately seen, heard, and supported with women who genuinely get it. I am so honored to facilitate our Self Worth Hub membership and all the resources that are actionable and solution focused. It is an ever evolving library of resources and a compassionate and empowering community. And lastly, if you found value in today's call or live stream, right, please like, share, and subscribe so that you don't miss our weekly accountability live streams every Sunday at 8 p.m. If you have any questions that you would like me to address, any topics, please feel free to comment. And I cannot wait to see you again. Remember that you're not alone in this journey. Let me check the comments again. Oh, thank you. Beatrice says, that's beautiful. And we have lovely. Hi, Karina. Hello, hello. So it's wonderful to see you. I see some Self Worth Hub members. Hello. Okay, well, again, what is something that you are going to do for yourself? How are you going to show up for yourself and show some love? Share it in the comments before we close our session, if you can and feel comfortable. And I cannot wait to see you this coming Saturday if you are a Self Worth Hub member. And if not, I cannot wait to welcome you inside. Consider joining so that we can delve deeper into this topic and insights from the book Women Who Love Too Much this coming Saturday from 10 to 12 p.m. Eastern Time. Again, everyone, thank you for being here. Thank you for your time. And I will see you again next week. All right? Take care. Much love to you all. And please remember your resilience.